What's up, U-Skillz Army? Welcome to an Unlocking Fun in the Google Earth. This time we're not pointing out the massive errors that Google has made, trying to cover up the holes at the north and the south. Instead, we're going to talk about Gabon. In Gabon, semi-recently, I think it started in the 70s, there's been found a lot of uranium deposits. And I think that actually started in the 50s. And in the 70s, they found one that seemed to have been working like a nuclear power plant that we'd make today, where the numbers they seem to be manufactured. I did some research on this, and they have found 16 of these deposits so far that at a time 2 billion years ago were working on their own, supposedly. And they said for about 150,000 years, each of these were working kind of like geysers. They would be going for 30 minutes, and then they would stop for 2 hours and 30 minutes due to according to their calculations. And how it was working is the uranium deposits were sandwiched between some rocks, and every time it heated up, some of the gases were collected in the rocks, making it possible for it to continue its process for over 100,000 years. And then, of course, I say like geysers because it had to have a surface water that came down, started the process, and as the uranium got really hot, the water boiled away and went up, and then 2.5 hours later, it came back down and started the process. Now, that's exactly what they say. Of course, these could have been used by an ancient civilization that we have no idea about, in many different ways. They could have been just viewed like we view the geysers in America, or they could be a more sustainable way of making nuclear energy, because, again, they lasted for over 100,000 years, and that's just exactly what they were used for, just for energy. And they predict that they're going to find a lot more within this area, and I think that's going to be awesome. And the science that goes with it is pretty awesome, because they'll be able to find out ways to make our nuclear energy last longer and work better because of what they found. And we can thank Mother Nature or an ancient civilization, but one of the reasons I say an ancient civilization, because we have no idea how long a civilization can last. The Earth is very old, and 2 billion years ago, it sort of looked roughly how it does today. The theory that scientists came up with the Pangea and the continents just drifting apart has been rethought of or disproven by scientists. So they've recently discovered that the continents have actually been pushed apart and brought back together at least 6 times. And you can kind of see where that comes from with all of these stretch marks in the ocean. The stretch marks, of course, are harder to see on land because it's covered by all sorts of sediment. But if you look in the ocean, you see all of these huge stretch marks, all in different directions, and you can kind of count how many times the continents were pushed back together and pulled apart again. So what could have happened is there was a civilization 2 billion years ago, and they just couldn't survive a giant shift in the continents, which is very difficult to survive because when something of that magnitude happens, the Earth rocks get superheated and create a massive gas that envelops the Earth, which makes it pretty much impossible for anyone to survive, and it probably killed off most of the people of the ancient civilization, and the rest of them hid in the mountains, as typically happens. And of course, after you hide in the mountains, you become cavemen because you have to hide in the mountains for such a long time. You don't have the outside world to interact with. You can't really advance civilization. So, I mean, civilization could have been reset many times over the course of Earth's lifespan. And so we have absolutely no idea exactly what those uranium deposits were for. We can give our theories that it was an ancient civilization, and we can just take what we know from it and learn from it. And, well, that's pretty much all I have to say about the geysers, the ancient geysers of uranium, or power plants. Take what you want from it, believe what you want from it, create a freaking fantasy world from it, right? Make a notebook or a comic book, some TV show about it. Do whatever you want. Because, I mean, the world as we know it can be made up of any sort of fantasy we want, because we truly do not know everything there is to know about the world, even as it is today. So, there you guys go. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.